Hello and welcome back to the Boston Commune.
This week's Incredulous installment will feature commentary from Comrade Scott, Joe, Ellie, Sarah, and myself. Rather than our segmented format, Afghanistan will be at the center of our conversation. We will discuss the political climate that precipitated 20 years of incompetence, the ghosts of neoconservatism, the obvious parallels to Vietnam, the consequences that our rapid yet necessary troop withdrawal will have both on material conditions and on mental health, plus the only options left for humane foreign aid. Finally, we decompress with the tale of many Kyles and lay down some lo-fi hip-hop for the birthday boy.
Please do us a favor, share this content, do yourself a favor, enjoy your evening.
Thank you for calling the office of Senator Elizabeth Warren in Washington, D.C. If you are calling to express a policy concern, leave a message at the beep.
And you know what, ER was on the air for so long that the later episodes concerned the war in Afghanistan. Joe, update us on that war.
Well, it is over.
Sorry.
The government officially collapsed on Sunday. The president of Afghanistan fled the country.
American or Afghanistanian or Afghan?
The Afghan president.
I apologize for that.
That would be great if Joe Biden fled to Uzbekistan, but alas, we'll still stuck with him, unfortunately. Yeah, the president of Afghanistan fled to...
Did you just call him Joe Button?
Joe Budden.
No. I said the president of the United States.
Yeah, did you call him Joe Button?
No.
Okay, fine. The more you protest, the more I'm assured you did, but okay.
Joe Buttfolio.
Protests too much.
This is the hill Scott's gonna die on. Continue, Joe.
Ashraf Ghani fled to the capital of Uzbekistan on Saturday night. The Taliban took control of Kabul on Sunday, and... You know, the one thing I love about this whole scenario is the State Department seems to be convinced that if it just says the same thing over and over and over again, that it will just magically become true because it keeps saying it. It's like in The Wizard of Oz, where just tap your heels 3 times and you say, it's not Saigon, it's not like Saigon, it's not like Saigon, even though anybody who even pays a cursory amount of attention would be like, hey, this what's going on in Kabul's got major Saigon vibes right now. And the State Department is still just like, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. Just please stop paying attention to everything and listen to what I say.
I mean, we were kind of discussing this earlier. There's not really who's the good guys?
Who are the good guys? That's a good question. There are none.
The civilians, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the Taliban are not great, but they're better than the current Afghan government, sadly.
No, I believe that.
They had a press conference today, and I caught part of it, and they were basically like, we seek to have no enemies, internal or external. We mean to forgive everybody who fought for the Americans and all the other foreign governments. We just want peace. We want Afghanistan to no longer be a battlefield or a war for foreign conquerors, and we just want peace. Seems reasonable.
It sounds great. I don't know if I believe it.
I mean, there is context, because you have to go back to 1979, when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan for the sake of propping up a puppet government. And then the United States, in 1980, we began funding a group that was then known as the Mujahideen, who later became known as Al-Qaeda.
There's a very important historical text known as Rambo 3. Yeah. If you want to find out more about the brave Mujahideen fighters, there you go. Rambo 3.
We spent billions of dollars arming, funding, training the Mujahideen to harass and fight the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. And then, after the Soviet Union left in 1989, another government was propped up. And then Jesse had a couple questions in the chat, one of them being, what was the political incentive for George Bush invading Afghanistan? There was no material incentive, but there was great political incentive to do so. Because a lot of this got swept under the rug because of 9/11, but for the first year or so of George Bush's presidency, there was this huge, stinking cloud of illegitimacy hanging over the Bush administration.
Who's stinking cloud?
A wide cross-section of the American population correctly believed that the George Bush administration was an illegitimate government because of the way that the Supreme Court stole the election in their favor. And so, what better way to distract the population at large from feelings of like an illegitimate government than let's go invade another country and then claim that anybody who thinks that we are wrong for doing this is somehow an enemy of the state. And you had years and years of propaganda of anybody who was like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be going headlong invading other countries. Like, you're un-American. You're like a traitor. Or shit like that. Like, I feel like 90% of American adults just went insane after 9/11 happened.
Yeah, in part it was also to reinstate a sort of eternal enemy vis-a-vis the communism, you know? Because the 90s we were flailing, we tried Bosnia, we tried all these other places, and nothing
we tried
stuck.
Haiti.
So you pick a concept. Communism is a concept in the same way that terrorism is a concept.
Yes.
You're glued to nothing at that point. You're just attacking
kill an idea.
Exactly. And that's why it would perpetuate forever.
Good work.
You know, it's funny. I saw a tweet yesterday, and I was dying my ass off. It was like the United States, the U.S. Empire.
Dying your ass off.
I was dying my ass died right off my body.
And I mixed the phrase, but whatever. Who the fuck cares? I was laughing my ass off because of the fact that the tweet said the United States Empire, it launched wars on both drugs and terror, and it lost. Some empire it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because in the same way, drugs is also a concept.
And the drugs have won.
Yeah.
The drugs have won.
This is what happens.
We lost wars to both
Alan
drugs
Moore
and
was right.
terror.
You can't destroy ideas.
We've had an abysmal track record since the Bay of Pigs.
Oh, before that, really.
Can't go to war with pigs either. They just always win. So
Yeah, pigs
thank
are
you.
smart.
Joe always laughs at my
They're
terrible
aggressive.
jokes. I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
Smart, they're aggressive, and
I thought that was going to be a joke about police officers as well.
Yeah, I got confused. I think I got confused because
No, I don't know what I was doing there.
I just want to say
I could have seen
that
that.
I took a big sip of water right before Joe said that thing.
You're welcome.
I'm dying my ass off over here. Fucking
I
I took
dying
a
my
big
ass
sip of water,
off.
and I really did almost get to the point of spitting it out.
Come on, man.
Sarah, you're either welcome or I apologize, depending on how you feel about
It
it.
was really funny. It was really funny.
it was a silent spit take.
I was
We
just
love it.
imagining someone's face extremely distressed while they're rubbing
Ass is dying.
they're rubbing hair dye all over their butt.
Yeah,
"Ah,
like neon hair dye.
It will never be clean.
So where was I?
Your ass died.
You can't kill an idea.
You can't. Yeah, well, I was saying that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so we have the Bush administration launching a war because it wants people to forget about the fact that his government is pretty much not
Played a little
really
music.
relevant.
Oh.
He gets reelected off of it in something of a landslide in the popular vote.
Yeah. Bush's approval rating after 9/11 was something like 80%.
Wait, I have a question.
84% to be exact.
I have a question. Since we're basically doing a little Afghanistan history episode here,
Ironic.
can you talk a little bit more about the role of Rumsfeld in just fucking just blasting into Afghanistan?
Blasting his ass into Afghanistan.
Rumsfeld and also Dick Cheney was also very important.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Remember when Cheney shot that guy in the face and the guy had to apologize for it?
Yeah, the guy had to apologize for being shot in the face.
What were they, quail hunting?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were quail hunting.
It's like the epitome of just
the rich douchebags.
Dumb
Which
bourgeois
is also
decadence.
funny, considering the fact that Dick Cheney served in the administration of George Bush Sr., whose vice president was also named Dan Quayle.
Quail hunting.
He was just trying to get revenge, yeah. And then some guy got in the way, and he was confused, and he just had to shoot, so...
I mean, quail
that
are
was
very
so
small.
funny. No, that is seriously, one of the fun... that's like a... That is a moment that trumps, like, all of the fucking shit that happened during the Trump administration. That's, like...
All of that condensed into one event.
That is, like, that is, like, a toxic Avenger, like, type of, like, satire come to life. It's insane. Guy apologized for getting shot in the fucking eye. Like, what the fuck?
Both Bush administrations had some fucking bangers. Like, remember the vomiting?
He choked on a fucking
the
pretzel.
Japanese Prime Minister.
Yes, George Bush vomited on the fucking. It was Chinese
and
president.
it was the Japanese president, and ever
Prime
since
Minister.
then,
Okay, Japanese Prime Minister.
there's now a phrase in the Japanese language which is bushuru, which means to vomit.
Awesome. That rules.
You fucked up
he's made
so
a
hard.
contribution.
Another culture
Bushes
has to
have
come up with
such
a word to
a
describe
legacy.
how much you fuck up. I love it.
Yeah.
I need to fuck up
with
someone Asian then.
Yeah. Motherfucker had a shoe thrown at him. Motherfucker choked on a pretzel. Remember he almost died of choking on a pretzel?
That man is just a guy that you can't
That's
make
my
up
Bush.
like his whole
Watch
life.
that show. It was not. It was fucking. There's a documentary. Goddammit.
Yeah, I aspire to be in a position where I'm throwing my shoes at someone powerful.
So we're towards the beginning of the first Bush administration. Rumsfeld says, "Fuck yeah, let's go in there. We're not going to do any negotiating with the Taliban."
Actually, that was Iraq that he was talking about.
Oh.
Rumsfeld was famously asked about WMDs in Iraq, and he said, well, we have to be prepared to deal with any known unknowns. Which was a fancy way of saying, well, we're pretty sure there aren't any, but we got to be sure. We can't be like, yeah, there aren't any WMDs, because then we don't have a viable excuse, narrative-wise,
Yeah, wasn't he
for invading
also
another
the
countries.
Secretary of Defense during
He was.
Afghan? Talk about it.
Rumsfeld was one of those guys
Fuck.
who was institutionally he was just basically a fixture of the Republican Party as an institution unto itself. In a space of 30 or 40 years.
Wow.
He was in Gerald Ford's administration. He was in the Reagan administration. He was in both Bush administrations in varying capacities. Same with Dick Cheney. Cheney and Rumsfeld, honestly, on some level, you kind of have to view them as one and the same. Because they were both in all of those administrations.
Okay, I give up on trying to do a linear timeline of this. I tried. I'm not. I can't.
It's not going to happen.
I cannot facilitate this.
I am
Steve Carell.
I am basically explaining
Steve
context.
Carell played Donald Rumsfeld in the Vice movie.
I'm explaining the context before getting back to where we are in the linear point.
Okay, so we think of Rumsfeld and Cheney as literally the same human being occupying two spaces at once.
In terms of policy-wise.
Okay.
Because they have the same ideological goals.
One brain, two dorks.
Pretty much.
Kind of like me and Hava, except much dorkier.
And also less terrible.
Less terrible?
Well, because Dick Cheney wanted to basically just burn the whole country to the ground. He had financial incentive to destroy Afghanistan because he had a lot of shares of a company called Halliburton.
Oh,
you said there were no material incentives for the Bush administration.
Not for George Bush.
But for his vice president, which would make it a part of the... Anyways.
I guess you could say there was a material incentive for the administration.
There's always some material incentive. It's never purely ideological. Or if it is ideological, it's to immaterial ends.
Yes.
War on drugs outlawed a lifestyle. The war on terror let us be the police of the world. Joe, talk about it.
Yeah, so we dismantled the Afghan military and their government. We installed a puppet government and spent $2 trillion over the course of 20 years, basically just so that we could spend a lot of money on military contractors. They could get rich. Also, there's a lot of opium in Afghanistan.
There is indeed.
And many people who have made this conjecture that part of the reason we have an opioid epidemic in this country that sprung up around the time we invaded Afghanistan has something to do with the fact that the CIA has been doing a lot of stuff in Afghanistan. I mean, for fuck's sake, Pete Buttigieg acknowledged that he was working for the CIA in Afghanistan for some reason.
Yeah, I find that funny that it's described as conjecture. Like that, I think it's pretty easily traceable. But hey.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the theory of general relativity is still just a theory. You know?
True.
That's kind of what I was going for.
That's the scientific method. Yeah, okay, Joe. You've outsmarted me yet again. God damn it.
Yet again.
I'll get you next time.
You know what? I gotta be more trusting of Joe. He does have it's not always a meandering, sometimes it is a contextual illustration.
I'm a big picture kind of guy.
Well, give us the big picture. You're welcome.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the one that's more likely to ramble, but to be fair, I mean, all of us kind of take a while to get to the point usually, but then Joe comes back to it. He definitely does.
He does.
You need the context. It's important.
Context is everything.
Historical materialism. That's what we're all about.
Exactly.
That's what we're all about.
So we failed Afghanistan. This big old F right there.
It depends on what you define as failure. I mean, the objective of the occupation was to make a fuck ton of money for private military contractors.
True.
And on that front, they were wildly successful with the objective to actually, spread democracy to Afghanistan. That was not really the reason we were there. We were there to make money.
Yeah. Joe Biden actually explicitly said this, and that, I gotta say, it felt really good to hear it, but in this weird bittersweet way where it's it's really fucking, something has really, the shit has hit the fan severely when even Joe Biden is admitting that this is a fucking flop.
Where were you stopping this 20 years ago?
He was asked by, I think, a Politico reporter about a month ago about, they were trying to, ask Biden, trying to use this, emotional manipulation, try to convince Biden to, stay in Afghanistan. What about women's rights? And he literally, turned around and he's like, I don't fucking care about that. I don't fucking care about women's rights in Afghanistan. We're leaving.
Yeah, I feel like that anybody should be wary of that as a defense to maintain effectively a military dictatorship over another nation. I know I said weary instead of wary. It's the same thing we got on Joe's ass about a couple of weeks ago. Point is, neoliberal think tanks and the journalists that serve as their mouthpieces, e.g. the Borgen Project, New York Times, DW Academy, love to sensationalize women's rights in the Middle East to dilute discourse around foreign policy. If we're serious about liberating women around the world, and we should be, then we should probably not be bombing them or selling weapons to monarchs.
That's pretty much what the Kabul government is. It's incredibly inept, it's incredibly corrupt, which is a large reason why the government collapsed in the space of a week. British and American intelligence both predicted that the Taliban wouldn't even make it to Kabul, let alone take the city. They wouldn't reach Kabul until the end of next month.
I'm making a jerking off motion. You can't see it, but I'm doing it.
Oh.
It's hilarious just how delusionally optimistic the British were about this. Boris Johnson believed that it would not be possible for the Taliban to achieve outright victory, and that the Taliban wouldn't at the very earliest take control of some parts of Afghanistan, never the whole country, some parts of Afghanistan, until at least around Christmas. It's funny when the United States is actually a lot more pessimistic about things than other countries, but the United States estimated that they would last about a month before the Taliban would actually take the country as a whole. And the Taliban took control of Afghanistan in 6 days.
Yeah.
Country lasted 6 days without American support. Apparently, the Afghan military is completely useless without residual air and ground support from the U.S. Air Force. Why? Because no one fucking cares.
Yeah.
Everyone understands this is a government not worth fighting for. It's mostly just, corruption.
Well, it has a lot to do with all the deals that, Trump did make a lot of, deals with the Taliban for them to have the country back. And a lot of the communities, agreed to it.
That's what he does. He's a deal guy.
You have to understand that, the civilian government that was controlling Kabul up until last week was viewed by many people in Afghanistan as illegitimate because of just how corrupt it is.
And that's why they prefer the Taliban.
I was talking about this earlier, the more that, the Afghani military, which was partially backed by the U.S. and is basically no longer backed by the U.S., started to get, painted into a corner, the Taliban-controlled areas actually became safer because civilians were no longer at risk of just getting, randomly bombed while they were, raking leaves in their yard or something. So, the rural citizens of Afghanistan are safer than they were before. But the people that are still living close to the military bases...
They're still deep shit because we're still bombing those areas.
Yeah. They're on the receiving end of the conflict between the Taliban and the Afghani military.
which is why all of those people were trying to desperately escape the country, because they want to escape war. They're like 100% convinced that the conflict will continue, which is why you had people literally falling from the skies to their deaths because they were trying to cling to the undercarriage of American military transports.
And they had to literally pull mangled bodies out of the landing gear
of others.
Jesus.
Once they landed. Because the wheels, like, they got sucked up into the mechanism of, like, the landing gear when the wheels went back into the plane.
I don't know which is the worst way to go, being sucked into the landing gear or falling off the wheels as the landing gear begins to be retracted and then plunged to your death.
Oh, man.
Falling off would be less painful.
Probably.
Yeah, I think I would rather fall.
Yeah, me too.
There are also other people who are stampeded on the tarmac to death. Also not a great way to go.
Yeah, it was a shitty situation. We're a shitty country. Fuck us.
Did anybody get shot? Because I know that they fired warning shots before they took off.
Some suspect, but others attribute it to like just a stampede of people, which is fair because there were like thousands of people trying to get to the same place at the same time.
So probably, yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a fucking terrible... All of it's terrible because I guess it's like...
It's just like Saigon. It really is.
It's worse than that. Because
I would agree with Sarah that it's worse than
the
Saigon.
Vietnamese last longer? Were we trying to do we have to get this many Vietnamese people out of the country as we are having to do with Afghan people now?
Yes, but we did it in a slightly more coherent fashion. It wasn't all just like, okay, we're just leaving. We're leaving now. Like the United States had what it called the even intervals practice of they did the drawdown in a much more coherent and measured way instead of okay, we're just leaving all at once. The U.S. military intentionally botched this withdrawal because they're trying to stick it to the president because they're unhappy about having to leave Afghanistan in the first place.
I think it could be argued that they also, in Saigon, had there was less of a crisis in the number of citizens that they needed to evacuate because most Vietnamese people are communists. They are in favor of communism.
That is also correct.
Yeah.
This is far worse than Saigon was.
Yeah.
You didn't have people in Saigon trying to strap themselves to the side of military transport that they were leaving the country in Saigon. You didn't have that.
So I guess they're right. This isn't Saigon.
Yeah. It's just so much worse.
Worse.
Sunday alone, it was estimated that anywhere between 7 and 24 people died at the airport. Just the airport.
But they did fill a fucking plane that's meant to hold
people.
800 people.
Oh, it was 800. I saw 640.
800 people, and then they had only gotten before in for some typhoon or something a couple of years back, they had gotten 670 people. That's the weird thing where it's all terrible, but I mean if you get that many people out at once, it's
more than nothing.
Yeah, it's more than nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Still not great.
If you tell people to get off the plane, but they're not going to get off, and you think that people are going to kill 800 people if you can't get the plane going, it's all terrible. It's just awful.
It's a shit show, all right. We spent $2 trillion propping up Afghanistan in the past 20 years.
There's no raise the money. I got the money. Okay, you got the money.
For perspective.
No more.
So bleak.
Yeah,
For perspective of how much of a waste of money that is, you could cancel the entire federal student loan balance and still have enough money to end homelessness in America 10 times over.
Yeah, but they were never going to do that anyways. They had to spend it on a war or on their own decadence.
No, of course they weren't. I'm just trying to give a perspective of how much money was wasted.
Yeah, if the world was good.
Yeah,
maybe also it's a good time to remind our listeners that we have more than enough homes in this country to end homelessness.
It's 5 homes for every homeless person.
Yeah, the problem is not that we have a lack of property.
Contrary to what the property developers would say.
You mean empty property, right?
Yes, vacant homes.
And I mean,
just sitting there.
Shit just sitting around for the purpose of generating some douchebag more money.
Yep. Whole bunch of empty properties in East Boston.
Bloomberg yesterday had a headline about how we shouldn't be taxing the empty properties of rich people.
What?
Bloomberg?
Fuck you, Bloomberg. Suck my blooms, Berg. Sorry.
I have breaking news.
Bow, bow, bow.
Do the noise. The breaking news.
Do you have a noise for that?
Apparently.
I don't know.
Okay, there we go. We can edit something into that. All right, great.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll do it in post.
Good morning.
Apparently, the
Sunday morning.
vice. All right. Apparently, the vice president of Afghanistan has like a militia or like soldiers, and they just took part of a province of Afghanistan. I mean, this is just about her on the radio, and I have to look onto like the actual history of it to see again. But like, it seems like a lot of times in the past, people have like captured Kabul and then like couldn't actually like capture the entirety of Afghanistan. Then like the conflict continued because there's always somebody to fight against. Somebody's holding out somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And that's basically what this is happening now. But it's just like you get this little teeny tiny bit, like a district of a province.
Therefore, we must do civil war.
Well, what the Taliban have done strategically is rather than going after cities, they go after connections between big population centers. So, like, they have the transit routes covered.
Oh.
They took a major highway a couple days ago, connecting Afghanistan to Pakistan.
It's just a little part of the country. Look at that.
It's important because Afghanistan is landlocked, so like right now, taking control of the highways means that Kabul International Airport, which is controlled by the U.S. Air Force right now, is the only way out of the country that isn't subject to like the Taliban checkpoint.
What the fuck?
Who's starting a fire? Who's starting a fire?
Yes, I am.
Of course, God is starting a fire.
But the Taliban also they have military and financial support from like neighboring territories.
Also, they have diplomatic support because the Chinese said yesterday that they are eager to begin friendly relations with the new Taliban government.
Yeah, which could have been done fucking 20 years ago. Maybe not by China, but like we had the opportunity to do that.
Actually, Rumsfeld famously rejected a peace plan that the Taliban offered them in November 2001.
That's what I fucking said at the very beginning of the episode.
Yeah, Joe.
That's what I was trying to get you to talk about.
Joe, detail it. Talk about it.
I don't have all of the details from that off the top of my head, but it was something along the lines of like,
well, we aren't interested in making deals right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was that line in The Dark Knight. It was like, we don't make deals with terrorists.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
He's not Trump. Trump would be like, okay, let's sit down, let's talk it out.
He did. That's what he did. That's why the Taliban's been able to take the country back so quickly. It was already there.
Trump had his finger in a lot of pies.
It's the only thing Trump did. I mean, this is George Bush's fault, but, you know.
Very tiny place.
It's one district of a province, yeah.
So we take a small district in like the eastern part of the country.
Cool. Billy was talking about, I'm Donald Trump. I don't know. I don't know what that sounded like. I just tried to move my face like his face that kind of moves.
No. It was actually not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was right.
Considering that I'm a youthful female, yes, and not a greasy, large man.
You know he's greasy. He's gotta be.
He smells like Crisco.
Damn a stam. You fucked it up.
One of the mini stands.
And the saddest part about it is that we have absolutely no path forward. It is so beyond repair.
What country are we going to invade next?
Nothing that the United States could do to make this right, because it's just created the problem, perpetuated the problem, and then left it to fester on its own. They don't fucking want us there, period. They do not want us there.
They are blocking us on their phone. They're blocking us on Twitter. They're throwing away objects that remind them of us. This is a full...
Oh, it's a full breakup. Wow.
Dirty break.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so there's no clean break.
Wow, I totally forgot what I was going to say.
They're doing to us like what we want to do to the Democratic Party, but in a much more effective and swift fashion.
Yes.
Did you just start taking your vacation, Joe?
Did I start taking a vacation?
He had his vacation. It's over now.
It sounds like you're boarding a plane right now. Or...
No, I'm in my room.
We should talk about Joe's house.
Fuck, dude. The plants in the yard.
Oh, God. Joe's got quite a house.
Yeah, the jacuzzi in the basement.
He has a breakfast room
And my grandmother knew that there was company. Why? Because the table Sarah moved was slightly off to the right. That's it's like there was something off. There were people here. The table moved a little bit.
She probably noticed that Hava rearranged her cookbooks.
No, she didn't
care
notice
about that. Fuck those books.
Oh yeah,
never looks at them.
I saw the Instagram post about how of it, and I was dying I was dying so fucking hard.
To stew peas, the Jew.
What is this? Dying my ass off.
I don't know why my brain is going there.
Dying his ass. Joe's
I
just
love
dying
it.
his ass off over here.
It's like beating around a dead horse. I love that.
The Jews way. Like, wow, I knew she was racist, but I didn't know it was that bad.
I want to narrate a text that Carlene sent me earlier. Quote,
Do it.
So I was delivering a tray to a patient, and he had a lot and he had a lot of apple juices on his dinner tray in his room, and he had said, I'm going to keep them. I said, yes, that's a good idea. This is so hard. I said, yes, that's a good idea, because occasionally we go through an apple juice genocide instead of apple juice drought.
Title of the episode. Title of the episode. It's beautiful.
Apple juice genocide.
I love that.
Maybe Afghanistan apple juice genocide.
Now in Afghanistan flavor.
It's like the worst possible word you could just tell.
The question is, did that guy know what genocide meant?
She needed to double down. She needed to be like, yeah, you better fucking hide those apple juice well, so when I come door to door with a machine gun to kill them, you don't want them to get hit.
Oh my god!
All for the sake of apple
You better hide
juice.
you better hide your fucking apple juice under the floorboards, bitch.
Yeah, I mean, is it a genocide?
Apple juice genocide.
Or is it a genocide by apple juice? Like, does the apple juice commit the genocide on something else? Like a different kind of juice, maybe.
Or apple juice is committing genocide now?
Well, that is the question.
Yeah, the apple juice is mixing with the cranberry juice to blend in.
I mean, it can blend in anywhere.
This is cultural erasure.
Is this Holocaust jokes? I'm doing Holocaust jokes.
I hope not.
Well, that's all right. Are we done talking about the unfortunate Middle East?
Ooh. All right. So, well,
I have some more things I want to talk about, which is like
go
another.
Off. Sarah, go off, baby.
I preface this by saying that I can care about multiple things at once because I'm a complex human being.
Yes, it's called nuance. We like to have.
I have nuance, and I'm just going to talk about something that people might say, well, why? Who gives a fuck about them? And I'd be like, well, it's nuance anyway.
No, you can't just say, well, it's nuance, but I understand. Yes, continue.
Anyway, yeah, so as I typically do, I am monitoring various U.S. military army things because that's just what I do in case some shit's going down that's relevant to me in my life. And it's simultaneously bizarre to see everybody kind of freaking out as if like this was the moment that they realized that everything was fucked. You know, it's like you didn't realize. Basically, the thing is that people who had been deployed to Afghanistan, especially recently, knew that it was like a hopeless situation, and then as soon as we get out, it's going to go to hell. Maybe then the people who hadn't actually gone to Afghanistan before didn't realize that, or they just were ignoring it, but a lot of people feeling really hopeless about the situation, what their purpose is in doing anything, which I mean, I guess is good. It makes you rethink why you joined the military of the imperialist, like,
the
government.
Imperial project.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, my boyfriend is expressing the same opinions as that, to be honest. So simultaneously, I think of like, this is the first time you guys are thinking about this way, like seeing this stuff. But at the same time, there is still so much like, people are really upset about this. Even if you think like, well, this person went to Afghanistan and they probably shot people, they don't deserve anything. But like, people are a lot of people are probably going to kill themselves and have killed themselves because of like the hopelessness that they see. Like imagining like that their like interpreters that they worked with in Afghanistan are probably going to die, and people that they helped and might have known might die or get hurt or something like that. But like seeing the camaraderie and people are like trying to reach out to interpreters that they knew and trying to get them the I believe it's called SIV, special in something visa, I think it's called.
Special emergency visa.
That trying to get them set up with that so that they can, try and get out and safely. And then seeing people like supporting each other and like saying that anybody can DM them if they're having a difficult time with the current events that are happening. I mean, to be honest, there was a time yesterday, because my boyfriend's already under a lot of stress from something unrelated. We were talking about Afghanistan stuff, and then he went silent for a while, and I like was nearly the point of like trying to find one of his buddies on like, I don't know, like Insta or Facebook or something, and message him and be like, hey, is everything good? I haven't heard from him in a while. I did not do that. He's fine. But just looking at it from that side, it's like a weird mixture of like seeing the situation from a different light, but then also like it's another separate, like smaller tragedy happening in that community. It's geographically separate, but like it's part of the same like ecosystem.
Yeah, I don't think we have to minimize the pain that like troops or former troops are going through. Like, as I was reading through the DSA National Platform, we don't take an anti-troop stance. We take like an anti-imperialism stance.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, a lot of people who join the armed forces do so because they can't afford to live in this country if they don't.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of nationalism that's
ingrained from you from a young age.
Yeah, like been bred into the population. Like, people will go to church and they'll hear the same attitude. People will go to, like a baseball game or a football game and they'll keep reinforcing this nationalistic attitude. There are people who their military experience was what radicalized them. And they have some of the absolute best insight from a Marxist perspective of anybody living in this country, because they have firsthand seen the consequences of the United States war machine and its impact on populations around the world. And what you just said is like really fucking heartwarming, actually, because it means that people are realizing while they're deployed that like the foreigner is not the enemy. The foreigner is just another human. And I think that's extremely important when we live in like this climate of xenophobia. And I don't really care if it's like a soldier or not. We can look at somebody who lives with a somewhat different set of cultural values, practices different religion, eats different kinds of food. Like, just because they're different from us doesn't mean that they're a threat to our way of life. Not that our way of life is fucking worth protecting at this point.
Yeah, just like vegans.
Oof.
Oh.
Big oof.
I would have to agree with Scott.
Guys.
There definitely are heartwarming aspects of it. I mean, as heartwarming as it can be to see like someone being like, hey, please don't kill yourself because of what's happening. Come and talk to me about it. Like, or go talk to behavioral health. Go talk to somebody in your platoon or something like that. Like, yeah. But then at the same time, obviously, there are people who are taking a different approach of like, it starts with the same thing of like, none of this mattered anyway. Like, it was all a lie. And then diverging into like, they were never worth saving anyway. We should have like bombed the whole country, like stuff like that. So there's the duality there, but
yes, but in some regard, like again, I attribute that more to the state than I do like to the individual, because if that's your job, if like you are eating, sleeping, and breathing American exceptionalism, what other kind of message are you supposed to take away from that? Like, it takes somebody who has, ironically, like a strong sense of individuality in order to develop a like Marxist consciousness if you're in that situation.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
God, it feels kind of gross to say.
Say it. We'll decide how gross it is.
Well, just by like intentionally disregarding what in your immediate circumstances seems like the greater good, you're actually doing something for the greater good. If you look around and you say like, everybody that's around me right now championing this sort of like, we can do this shit together kind of ideology, like that's all bullshit. I need to stick to my own values, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's what we kind of have to deal with on a regular basis because we're surrounded by this like neoliberalism bullshit. But if you're a soldier, that's kind of like your lifeline. The people that are like watching your back
and fucking up your shit. But yeah,
fucking up your shit.
Those blue Falcons gonna fuck you up.
The really shitty aspect of it, I mean, as if there weren't enough, is that people who have been conditioned to think that whenever they are doing something on behalf of the country, that they are de facto doing what is good for the planet, when they come back into regular society and they've just been deployed in like Afghanistan, where they come to realize that, you know, despite what they're doing, everybody is still dying and getting bombed. That'll fuck you up. And we don't really have a safety net for that.
Mm-hmm. Currently dealing with that right now, to be honest, trying to navigate that. Not myself, but like, you know.
It's the same sort of thing as like all these, you know, middle-aged men that thought that their identity was tied explicitly like to their job doing manual labor, whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, it's a good comparison.
They're like a steel, like an iron worker or
executive.
The miners, we love the miners. Like if you're a coal miner and then that mine shuts down and the economy of your town disappears, and the only thing that's left anywhere close to you is some kind of bullshit tech startup, and you have no technical skills and you're not making money anymore, like you think that you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, and you're going to do heroin. You're going to get hooked on heroin and you're probably going to die. That's what happens.
And or you're going to like get into QAnon stuff because there's this way you can
because that creates the sense of community that's been stripped away from you.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is like a chauvinism problem. I don't think this is a problem with the moral compass of the individuals that we're like enlisting to do these things, because we're just all trying to survive.
Yep.
I mean, the real failure with Afghanistan is the fact that we showed up in the first place.
Yeah, that's why it's like so fucked, because there's literally nothing good that we can do at this point.
The only thing we can do is leave. That is the least bad option available at this point.
Realistically, I think sending medical aid and doing something to protect the infrastructure and doing something to...
But realistically, the United States isn't going to do that.
I know, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is MSF there? Are they there? Hold on, I'm Googling it right now. Yep, I mean, Doctors Without Borders is there.
John Carter.
Give money to them.
In a couple seasons.
That's not even, like, a good enough answer, though, because, like, the United States knowingly bombed a Doctors Without Borders hospital for over an hour and a half back in 2015.
I remember when that happened. Yeah.
I was just starting college. You couldn't do hospital bombing. Look it up. It's horrifying. That was truly the thing that solidified me as an anti-imperialist, was the couldn't do hospital bombing.
For me, it was that WikiLeaks footage of the dude operating the drone, just like shooting a fucking van with like kids in it, and then the paramedics that tried to rescue them, and then the fucking journalist that was like still alive, writhing around on the ground.
Yes. The imperialist machine has grown beyond its own control.
This shit makes me legit sick.
Thirst for blood is insatiable.
The thing that drives me most
one day it will crush all of us, either directly or indirectly.
We murdered, like, the top doctors in the entire country. Bunch of patients. And none of the people who were behind the bombing of the Doctors at Borders Hospital, none of them were actually held accountable.
Yeah, dude, of course not.
What are you doing?
What you searching there? What's up?
Oh, that's keyboard. I get it.
What was?
I was just imagining you like with a joystick, just like furiously like flinging it back and forth. Yeah, that's what it's like.
Just gets faster and faster.
Like you're playing fucking Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Mario Kart? That would not sound out loud. It'd be like Mario teaches typing.
Yeah, if you like take your joystick in Mario Kart and fling it around that fast, Mario's gonna be dead.
Mario's gonna be dead in the game where you can't die.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Shows you how much I know about Mario Kart.
You're gonna put in the cheat code that kills him immediately.
You can die, but you can fall off the track and then respawn.
You get like penalized, but you don't die. Anyways,
I have played that, just not that much.
There is like a rumble mode where you can get killed, so yes, that's applicable.
How about we talk about things we can't make up?
Yes.
transition out of it.
Okay, all right, fine.
Like
Crude but effective.
such as a like peaceful resolution to the situation
You
in
can't
Afghanistan.
make this shit up. Sorry.
Well, I guess no, you can't make that up.
You can. I'm gonna make it up.
Yeah.
Make it up out of clay. I'm Clayface.
The Gathering
The Gathering
of the Kyles.
Oh
Yep.
God! Did you show me this before?
I don't think so because I just found it today.
Oh.
Yeah. So
The Gathering of the Kyles.
The Gathering of Kyles. Are you
Fuck
named
these
Kyle?
guys.
Well,
We'll get it ran
yeah. I
over.
mean, I don't. The city of Kyle, Texas, is attempting to break the Guinness World Record for gathering the most Kyles, but only Kyles who spell their names Kyle. You got some kind of alternate spelling? Fuck you. You don't get to
Fake
play.
Kyle.
How about
Big Kyle ass having motherfucker.
how about Kylie, but like
Nope.
the two E's at the end are silent?
Nope, not
Or
word,
like
not welcome.
K-I-L-E.
Nope,
Who-
only Kyle.
Who in the world spells their
KY.
name that way? I'm gonna look it up.
Somebody.
I don't know. The
Somebody
people who
in a
live rent-free in
gift
Sarah's
shop.
brain.
C-A-I-L-L-E.
Trying to find a fucking
People
license plate,
named
keychain.
Kyle.
Imagine if somebody spelled Kyle with a C. Oh, that'd be infuriating.
oh.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes me feel very bad.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
It makes me feel weird.
C-A-I-L-L-E.
I can't find anybody named Kyle, K-I-L-E.
Just look
So
like
you complain about
you
this
gotta
music,
Google,
you can turn it
like,
down.
count.
No, I
No,
haven't said
it's
anything
fine.
about this music.
Oh, I thought
It's
you
a
did.
good vibe.
That is one of the most popular Norwegian last names. The surname is derived
Really?
from Old Norse word
No, what I
hill,
was saying when I
meaning
thought was
wedge
weird
or narrow
was
bay.
talking about someone who had Kyle with a C.
Oh, well, there you go.
Just everybody calm down.
Yeah, if you have any of these, you cannot go to this party, which is going to be on September 4th at 10 a.m. in Kyle,
Oh,
Texas.
God.
At Lake Kyle.
K-Y-L? Ugh.
Oh,
Kyle. Kyle.
K-Y-L-L-E.
K.
I like that.
Come on, Kale.
Nice name.
Come here,
At
kid.
church. If you go to this weekend, which is free, when is it? It's this weekend. And how much is it? It's free. You, oh wait, no, that's a lie. Sorry.
That's already
If
happened.
you have, no, it's gonna happen on September 4th. You have to go there and be in the Guinness World Record, and then, if you do that, you can go to the festival, and you will get a free t-shirt. What will the free t-shirt say?
Oh, holy fuck. There,
Oh my God!
I found a
Look
guy
at
named
her butt.
Kyle that spells it K-I-L-E.
It
You
is
did?
so big.
Yeah.
On Facebook.
Son of a bitch.
No. It was a guy that
He looks like one of those rap guy boyfriends.
No, this is actually interesting.
Whoa. Kayland. Kalar. Kaylin.
like Caitlyn.
Kayland. Kaylin.
They're related names.
Kalar.
Did their
Kayla,
parents do this out of
Kayla.
spite or what?
Alright, I agree with Sarah.
I found okay. I found it. So there once was
I gotta stop.
an 11-year-old boy named Kyle Glover who happened to be the popular pop star Usher's ex-wife.
What?
Tamika.
Wait, what? Usher has an ex-wife who is an 11-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. No, that was the son of Usher's ex-wife.
Okay.
Was struck while riding an inner tube by a family acquaintance riding a jet ski and rendered brain dead. Although
Oh,
doctors
no.
struggled to save his life, he died 2 weeks later on July 21st and was taken off life support.
That sucks.
Oh, that okay.
It's not fun at all.
That was what in part led to Lake Lanier, Lanier,
It's probably Lanier or Lanier if it's in Texas.
Being deemed cursed in a death trap.
You mean every Chevy that has ever been made since like 1980?
Chevy. His name is
I thought Dodge was worse.
The Chevy.
Oh, they're both terrible.
No, Dodge
Believe me,
is
they're both
reliable.
terrible.
American car. Oh, fine.
Of course, leave it to fucking Usher's ex-wife to name their kid Kyle with an I.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
That was the sign that he was doomed.
What's her name?
All I gotta say.
Tamika Foster. Very normal name.
Oh,
Everybody's got normal names, so we love them.
oh no.
Sorry,
This
Marta.
is sad.
I hijacked
I
your
Googled-
segment. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I think I was the one who kind of started it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
we,
In
but that's
memory-
okay. All I gotta
In
say
memory
about
of Kyle Glover.
Kyle Glover. Probably a cool guy.
I thought you were
Anyways.
gonna end that
Pretty
story.
cool guy, and he doesn't afraid of anything.
Yeah.
No,
He doesn't.
He didn't.
Oh, he doesn't.
He didn't
Oh,
afraid of
But he,
anything.
he was not.
good for he. You know,
I thought you were
going
gonna end that story by telling me that lake that he had the accident on was renamed Lake Kyle,
It's
which
haunted.
is where this Kyle gathering is in Kyle, Texas.
Oh.
But I didn't realize he was the guy.
Oh.
He was the Kyle with an eye, so
I really
he couldn't
care.
even go to this. He couldn't go see the hot air balloons, live music, food vendors, and free T-shirt that he
Sucks.
would get.
Bring
This
it
is for
bring
you,
it
Kyle. Pouring it out.
This one's for you.
Yeah. We miss you, Kyle. We love you. This is kind of
For you, Kyle with an eye.
All right. Before we, all I gotta say about
Afghanistan.
just to bring us back is that I remember a lot of people in high school insisted that we would win the war in less than a year.
That's
And I
weird.
was like, I'm not sure about that. And look who was right. Suck my dick.
Yeah, everybody that
Yeah, it was like two or
Scott
three
knew.
weirdos. Yeah,
everybody
it's not-
suck his dick.
Everybody's sucking
Hey,
his
not
dick.
weird,
not
hey,
really,
weird,
not
hey,
really.
weird guys that Scott knew growing up.
All right, let's stop.
Why don't you suck on his penis?
Hey guys, he said he wants you to suck
Why
his
don't
dick.
you?
Hey,
He said
come
that
over
he
here.
wants you to suck on his penis
Why don't you do that? Why don't you?
to show
Senate, and that's what
you
it's
how
so.
smart
Yeah, why
he
don't
is.
you? Why don't you? Is there a problem here?
just
Why
gotta-
don't you?
You gotta
He
prove
said
it. Do it.
he told us that he wants you to give him a blowjob because he is right.
You son of a bitch.
You're legally obligated
You commanded
To do
it, and that's
this.
what it's called.
because you are wrong. You gotta understand.
Jesus Christ.
All right, everybody shut the fuck up.
I'm like this close to naming your actual high school, but I'm not gonna do it.
It was the high school
That was
of
one big pile of shit.
it was the high school of hard
All
knocks.
right, yeah.
That's what I see on old people's
Hard
Facebook.
knocks, you say?
Yeah. Hard knocks.
Okay, Jesus.
But you know, you've seen like old people who are like, oh yeah, I went to the school of hard knocks. Haha.
So
I don't
Jesse,
need an
you're
education."
reading the you've read the platform, the DSA platform on the
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Detail that a little bit. Then we'll wrap this show up. Oh my god.
So
This
So I have started narrating the proposed national political platform for the Democratic Socialists of America from the National Convention. I think it's going to be 4 parts in total. I have put 2 of them up on Patreon so far.
Patron.
And they will eventually, squeeze their way into the main feed. I don't know what squeeze is.
That's what I'm
Definitely
gonna
not the
listen
right
to.
verb.
Find out what the fuck we're all about as Democratic Socialists.
So, yes.
I know, I'm bad.
As it
Below
turns
it,
out, it does
Comrade.
actually take quite a while to narrate, but it is very thorough, and I actually like everything I have read so far. I am pleasantly surprised. So at least a good chunk of the org actually does represent the ideology that we try to espouse here on the Epoch, and it's been my experience so far.
It's very good to hear, folks. It's good to hear. My name is Scott.
His name is Scott.
Ah!
name is Scott.
Sweaty Wife on
Sweet wife.
Bandcamp and SoundCloud. It's adorable. You can find me at Sweaty Wife on Instagram, Death Mullet on Letterboxd and Twitter. We got a whole bunch of other prizes. Angry person, you want to get out of here? You've been yawning. Tell us who you are. Tell us why you're angry. Hulk out.
No,
Tell
don't
us what you're
angry.
about.
Hulk out and tell us what you're about. Tell us who you are.
Who you are.
Let it all out.
Oh, I'm upset that the military is fucking over my boyfriend.
All right, well,
As per usual.
Yeah, they suck.
fuck over a lot of people.
Solidarity with your boyfriend. Tell him he can come on the pod if you want.
I don't think he'd like to.
What's the
Okay,
problem
well,
with the military? We'd love to hear that.
Trying to be
Probably has got a laundry list. So.
welcoming and,
But yeah, no, just dealing with that and trying to be supportive. Yeah, just angry about that and about Bluetooth. Bluetooth makes me rage, apparently.
rage
You
tooth.
turn into Blue Hulk, not Green.
I just turned into a
Blue Hulk rage tooth.
I just turned into a large blue molar.
Yeah, just one tooth.
Like, you know, like at the dentist office with the little anthropomorphic teeth with like the little arms and legs.
Giant
Oh, that's
blue-
great.
Angry blue one. Yep.
Yeah, that's me.
Very angry
Anyway,
giant blue
you
molar.
can't find me, and that's fine.
It's good.
I don't want to be found. I'm
wanna be
busy.
Wow.
Busy.
Gonna have to hire a tooth fairy to get this giant tooth. Ooh, that was bad. Joe, go.
I wasn't aware that was a joke. Okay. Anyway,
That's why I said it was
popcorn.
Joe.
Oh, okay.
Joseph.
Oh, so now I have to go twice.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
sorry. No,
Tell us your
you're doing
information
popcorn,
twice.
Ellie.
And then tell me your
Oh, I
wasn't
was trying to get out of
card,
doing it.
I was supposed to.
your license number. And
What's your personal home address?
You already know what it
Credit
is. You
card
don't need
number.
me to say it again, do I?
Yeah, we were there. No, what the fuck? Don't say anything. Jesus. Ellie, just go. Fill the void.
Okay, I'm Ellie, and you can't find me anywhere either. But you can get a psychic reading from my headmate
There
Chava,
you go.
who he's gonna do it. I
Yeah.
don't want her to do it. Don't do it.
His eyes uncovered.
Yeah.
That's just a thing we do now. It has absolutely nothing to do with the URL.
I can't make like a cute jihad joke anymore either.
No, you can't.
Be inappropriate.
Anyway, oh my god.
His eyes uncovered.
You should watch that episode of Star Trek.
very
And
good.
anyway,
very
and on a
good.
completely unrelated note, if you want to get a psychic reading from Chava, my headmate, whose name is spelled Chava, what was it? Charlie Hotel Alpha Victor Alpha?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. That's how you spell her name, which is relevant because her website is readingsbychava.com. And she charges on a sliding scale.
His eyes
Oh my god. You can request an appointment with her on that website.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill you.
Readings by Hava. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna kill you. That's okay. You just have to.
Joseph. Joe,
Yes.
where you from? What you do?
Oh, I am, you can find me complaining about how the Red Sox are shitting the bed today on Twitter at JLFB96. Don't bother looking for me on Instagram. I'm not really there that much.
Well, that
And
makes it easier to not have to know about.
Do the soundbite again now, quick.
which
What the
one
hell
is
is this? Some kind of tube?
No, not that one. No. Do the Darmok. Just, I want you to do it randomly.
Oh my god.
No, I can hear you downstairs. Jesus, stop.
Well, sorry.
It's okay.
And he's Jesse.
And I'm Jesse. You can find my music on soundcloud.com/contingentsboston. Remember to hit up comrade-rosie.org, select one or more mutual aid groups to donate your time, labor, and or money to, because people really need your help right now. And if you want to cut straight to the shit, get right to the poop, donate to Austin Brighton Mutual Aid Group, paypal.me/abmutualaid.
I don't think we can do our PayPal anymore also, but you can also do our Venmo.
It's okay.
dealing with it. We're dealing with it. It's terrible. We're dealing with it. Anyway, but you also do Venmo at AB Mutual Aid.
I want to give us a collective pat on the back. Last week, I mentioned that we got our financial shit in order. We have already run into a huge barrier with that, but we did raise like over $2,500 at the yard sale. So
yeah,
we are doing some fucking practice. And the mental health working group raised like $100 and something $117 to go towards the Doctors Without Borders /MSF efforts.
Good for us.
Giving healthcare and mental health care to people around the world. Thank you, loving.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming and eating the cookies that Carlene made, and also I made some empanadas. Maybe Kava made them. Yeah, I think Kava made them.
I love you. Anyways,
and I delivered them.
That's
your
in a hilarious box.
Full of
you're not allowed to say it. Scott's the one who has to do it.
Yeah, he has to say it.
And you can find us on Patreon.
Do the thing.
At patreon.com/epicandcredulity. I can't make a song out of it this week. We're also on Instagram and Twitter at Epic and Credulity. We're on TikTok now. We got some clips to get some actual plays, some views. If you're on TikTok, listen to our show. Don't just listen to our TikTok clips. They're a minute long.
Don't follow us. Just
you
want listen everything. To the show.
Yeah.
Shout out to Carlene for promoting us on TikTok.
All the time.
I think that's why we're actually getting listens.
We're on Facebook, YouTube, but more importantly, go to that Patreon, patreon.com/epicandcredulity for some bonus material, access to our Discord. It's been a long night. No,
it's really not.
It's been a good night. It's pretty early. We're doing nice.
It's a hard.
Bring the power to the people, folks. Every week we say Batankdo. Wow, shockingly loud.
That was perfect. I love that.
Yeah, that was very.
Get married to a tank dough.
If that's what you want to do.
Every week.
You know, we've been saying that for so long. I forget why originally we said Potankdo. I think it had something to do with my job.
There wasn't a why.
It was
just an origin story for that.
You just said it, and you decided that was what we said.
It's called true love.
What?
We love you, listener. Every week we say Potankdo, and we also say that's your epoch. Kisses, love, smooches, Joe.
Nipple.
What?
Wrapped.
Anyways, I'm done.
Yeah.
What about Joe?
Yeah, what about
just vibe, baby? I'm done. Nothing.
I think your name is just something that comes out of Scott's mouth now.
Yeah, it's kind of like it just happens.
It's like Joe.
Well, it's good to know that living rent free in your brain. That's always good to know.
Ooh.
Joey B.
I'm just
gonna. It was the guy I know. His name was Joe. We would always go to the show together.
Always going to the show.
No, I can't. Oh God.
Come on, see. Come on.
He was my friend Joe. I don't know where he went, but I know he had to go. He's my good friend Joe.
He had to go.
It's kind of throwing me off a bit, but it's fine. We're singing about my friend Joe. Oh no, back to the fucking verse. I don't know what I was saying before.
Back to the verse.
Can I be your hype man?
I kind of already got one, so I'm gonna have to hype man.
That's right.
We're a band that consists of one singer and then a series of hype men.
And then
a series of
hype
backup
men.
singers. And then a series of more hype men. We're not even getting hype from Joe. He's not even listening to us, He's just sitting there in silence. Sulking.
Maybe he is dying his ass off.
Dying his ass off.
I'm just listening
His
background.
ass off.
He's my only friend Joe.
Do you guys know like Harry Potter?
It's not fair. I wish he had more hair.
You know those like animations, like the Oni animations, like Harry Potter, when like you know what I'm talking about?
What?
Like the Oni animation.
The Oni NG? Yeah.
Yeah, with like Harry Potter, where like Ron like grabs Hermione's butt. I'm imagining Hermione in that. She's not getting grabbed by her butt. She's just like rubbing her butt with hair dye, and she's just like,
Filled her butt with hair dye.
Stop!